Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the season preview. Myself and Andy at Pavote FTBL on Twitter. Make sure you give him a follow. Got to look ahead to the 1920 Premier League season. The transfer window is done in terms of players coming in. No first teamers will be going anywhere, so we can assess the squad going forward. Obviously, fringe players might still move to European clubs and such, but that's it. So, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the games and stuff like that, what's your overall take on the transfer window from Everton's perspective?
Well, I'll start with the positive. The squad's now there's much more depth in the squad now, especially after we got a Wolves. I know people worried we weren't going to get another winger, we'd be short, but Richarlison, Bernard, Theo Walcott, I know people don't love Theo Walcott, but he's still got stuff to add. He's still got a bit of pace late in games. And of course, Alex Iwobi. So we've almost got at least two or three for every position now. So we're getting there as a more complete squad. I like the fact that we've signed Sidibe, puts pressure on Coleman. Gbamin is a different type of midfielder than Gay. I think he's going to suit Silva's system more. So they're all positives. The lack of centre-half, yes, I wanted the centre-half. I wanted, but it obviously was an issue. I don't think we would have been for Marcus Rojo right late in the window if we had a plethora of centre-half options to sign. Obviously, we were saving money for Zaha, Doucouré, and we were looking to get Kurt Zouma on loan that fell apart. I think it was a good window. If you look at is Marcel Brands yet to sign a bad player for Everton?
I don't think it feels like Kurt Zouma is a miss, but it's not from Everton's perspective. It's not from Everton not being able to afford them, or it's not for the player saying I don't want to play for Everton. Simply, the Chelsea didn't want to, his parent club didn't want to let him go, despite kind of indicating to Everton that they would let him go, even up until last weekend. And Wilfried Zaha, again, when people say, it feels as though it's the first one Brands hasn't been able to get, really. But I don't even think that's fair.
It's not even Everton's fault that they couldn't get him.
That's what I mean.
If anyone, it'll come out in the next couple of days because people write stories about it. But Everton tried the hardest to get Zaha. They kept asking Palace. Palace kept changing the goalposts on the price. They thought they'd let him out today. They're still doing the deal, looking to do the deal about 2 o'clock this afternoon.
2:30, yeah.
And unfortunately, Palace, and even Roy Hodgson looked at like that he was saying that in the interview, obviously Wilfried Zaha was very upset with the board. They wouldn't let him out. I think he, thought that he was going to lose him, basically. Yeah. But again, we've said before, it's worth, for Palace, Zaha is worth more than 80 million if he keeps them in the Premier League.
Listen, you can understand Crystal Palace's point of view. I've got no issue with that. Wilf Zaha might be very disappointed. I don't think he can be very disappointed with Everton. I've seen people saying he put a transfer request in and Everton didn't even make the bid, go as high as they want.
They were asking for prices every day. Basically, when people say an official bid, the clubs are in negotiations and they make an official bid. If the club won't tell them a price, or they keep saying we want it all up front, then the clubs can't really do much in terms of offers.
An official bid is in writing, basically. So a lot of clubs still use fax machines, which blows my mind in this day and age. But it's got to be an official bid in writing, which Everton only made one official bid, despite what Sky Sports and the Daily Mail tried to tell people. Everton made one official bid, which was 52 million, despite Sky saying they had 55 million rejected. Everton never went back because they went back, but they never went back with an official bid because Crystal Palace kept asking for 80 and 90 million. And the numbers were getting crazy. And when the numbers are getting crazy for a player, if Wilf Zaha was 23, was Alex Iwobi's age, I think Everton might have
all day. They would have
got there and gone, let's do it.
Yeah.
The fact he's 27
with no resale
value and big wages as well, it made it very tricky. Anyway, that didn't happen. But Jonas Lersel, backup number 2. I think he's better than Stekelenburg. He's played in the Premier League for a couple of years.
He's not the hologram now.
Sidibe, Jibril Sidibe.
And the man we've got to mention him.
Yeah, he's come in and put pressure on Coleman. So we've got a good battle going on at right back.
Yeah, definitely.
We've got Andre Gomez and a permanence, which is what every Everton or most Evertonians wanted.
Seems so long ago now.
But imagine if we hadn't got him. People would have been fuming. We got it for £22 million.
Well, it was so long ago now, it's sort of lost its effect. But at the time, it was the be-all and end-all of Evertonians to get him. And we got him. And again, for a price less than it was advertised again.
Fabian Delph for £8 million.
Yeah, that three
Premier
midfielders,
League champion for 2 years on the run. And good passer, okay. People again will pick holes in it, but he's a good player to have. Jean-Philippe Baman.
Yeah.
Excellent up-and-coming midfield player, can play centre-back, quick, strong, good with the ball, good passer of the ball. We've done a video on him, go and check that if you haven't. Andy's give you all the data behind him. We got this fella, who for me was almost the be-all and end-all of the transfer window to get a centre-forward. Okay, yeah, people will tell me that he's not experienced enough, but this kid has got some talent on him. Some talent, knows where the goal is. And now we've got Alex Iwobi. So I look at that and I think, that is a hell of a window. Now the centre-back, I will hold my hands up. I do believe that Mina and Keane can be a good partnership. I do. Some people will take umbrage with that. No issue. It's all opinions. I know you're not totally convinced by that.
It is opinions, you're right.
That's fine. But a centre-back we wanted. We wanted Kurt Zouma, we really did. There's other ones we both discussed. What about Titty? Well, he hasn't gone anywhere, so maybe they're asking big numbers.
Money,
yes, there was other options. And Everton, thought they were going to... I still believe Everton thought they were getting Kurt Zouma on Tuesday.
They probably did, yeah.
And then when Chelsea went, then it was Fikayo Tomori, because Everton looked and thought, well, he's quick, he's young, he's big, we'll keep him as a backup. And then once David Luiz moved to Arsenal, came on, that ended up.
Well, this is the weird thing, because if you looked at the pre-transfer window with the Luiz situation, no one expected Luiz to leave Chelsea because he signed a new deal to not go on a free transfer this summer. And what happened is obviously Frank Lampard's gone and thought, long term for me, Kurt Zouma, 24 or 25, David Luiz, big presence in the dressing room. Maybe he wants to try and take a hold of the dressing room.
Yeah.
And he's moved a different player out that probably even Chelsea expect. They probably thought when he signed Luiz that new deal that he would be staying and Zouma might be moving out. And Everton couldn't do nothing about that. There's no way we can force Chelsea to sell another centre-back in this window. It's just impossible. So, again, I'm very disappointed. I love Kurt Zouma. It'd be sad to see him in Chelsea shirt this season, but I'm sure Marcel will be looking at January. I'd say I'm not going to make any guarantees that he's going to sign him on January because it depends on price, but he will look. If something comes up, I think he'll take the opportunity to sign someone.
I do. I think what we do now, and it is a big disappointment, and I understand everyone who's really disappointed over the centre-back situation. I've got no problem with any of that. I think what we do now is he will assess this first part of the season till the next window. He'll draw up a list. I imagine, I said to you before, and I can see him dipping into France in January because there's a lot of good French centre-backs who we can get. While assessing the Kurt Zouma situation, if Zuma's not playing, if he's on the bench and stuff, I think Everton may make another go for him in January. And I don't know whether Chelsea would let him go because they can't replace him, but I think Zouma will be kicking and screaming if he's not getting game time in January because he wants to go to the Euros with France. He ain't going to go if he's not playing. So we'll have to see that. Overall, I agree with you in terms of players coming in. I think it's been a very good window. Could it have been better? Of course it could. Zaha would have given Everton an X factor, would have scared teams.
Corey would have been a nice sign.
Corey would have been lovely. We couldn't get him. Again, that's down to the selling club not wanting to sell.
Yeah, exactly. Everton were offered all sorts of players over the summer. They were offered different right backs. They were offered different centre midfielders. Marcel Brands is very, very smart. He knows what he's doing. He knows what players fit Everton and what he sees as Everton's future. So, you could name players that were offered to Everton, and I won't do that, but there were some really good players that went to some really good clubs, but Marcel Brands knows what's good for Everton, and if he believes in Jean-Philippe Gbamin, he may not have been your first choice. I know everyone knows that I like Sangare was my first choice. Gbamin is by no means a bad choice, it's just a different choice. He's a good player, very good player, good choice. It was a good choice to sign Gbamin, so I understand it. There's no, I like Rafael slight bit more than Whiskey. Yeah. But again, Keane has got just as much talent, maybe even more. It's just all, they haven't, I know people get really bogged down and we should have signed him, we should have signed. Don't do that because you've got to try and understand why the club sign these players. It'll sort of help you understand the transfer window more in some ways and how teams operate. So when you're looking for players for Everton in the future, you understand what Silver and Brands wants. And I think that's a good thing to try and do.
I was on the Lau and Sangare train, I really was, you know, don't you? And it didn't happen for whatever reason, so you'd have to go. I had centre-backs there who had probably targeted over Zouma just due to the fact that
difficulty.
It was difficult to do the deal, but they haven't done it. We have to go with it. Listen, Mason Holgate has to step up. You know, young Lewis Gibson, who I think looks a fantastic prospect. It's up to him now as well. So we'll have to wait and see. The other part of the window, if the window's in two parts, was getting people out, getting people off the wage bill. I mean, Everton's net spend once Henry Onyekuru moves to Monaco, it's probably going to end up about 20 million quid, which ain't bad at all given the quality we've replaced. But we got players out the door as well, didn't we? Obviously, people were upset with Ademola Lookman leaving, but if he wasn't going to do it for us...
As I said before in the past with Lookman, he's got a fantastic talent. It just wasn't going to work out with him at Everton. No matter if you'd have made him stay another year, look at now. He would have still been behind Bernard and Richarlison, who were Silva's players, and he would have been frustrated even further. So it was always going to end that way. It was good that we didn't get the greatest amount of money for him. But the issue there is he only wanted to go to one club.
And he only had one club after him.
And Germany, they don't pay big prices, like even between themselves, 25 million, 30 million at the most. So then it limits what you can sell them for. So we got 16 million, add-ons to 22. It was good. It was not a bad deal. Same with Vlasic, just wasn't Brandon Silva's player. Good player again. Maybe not do it in the Premier League. He is a fantastic player though for the future. Maybe he won't do it in the Premier League though. Maybe he's more suited to other leagues. Again, we got a good price for him, 14 million. Again, you sell him to Russia. I know people say, "Oh, Russia got loads of money." Russian football isn't full of money anymore. It's not the same as it was years ago. Still pay big wages, but not as much in transfer fees. So overall, and we got rid of some of the deadwood. Now there will be more deadwood going out because European teams, especially Turkey, will be looking to take players on for the 2nd of September. So hopefully we get the rest out and reduce that wage bill. Obviously, Everton are happy currently because they signed the player Alex Iwobi today to take more wages on. So the FFP must be in a decent position. Obviously, going to take more off it as we go. So we're obviously down on that front as well.
Well, James McCarthy went out the door.
Yeah.
75 grand a week gone
so
there.
Gone.
Kevin Morales will probably go. I think you'll see. Well, Umar Niasse will move on. Mo Besic went on loan.
Yes, he did.
To Sheffield
was
United.
It on loan? Was it? Sorry,
it's on loan, but he's gone. So his wages will be taken by Sheffield United, I should imagine. So that's off the wage bill. Cuca Martina, I expect, to leave the club as well. So there's probably still going to be another 5 that go out the door. And that's all off the wage bill, which puts the whole thing healthier again.
Yeah, it does.
Isn't it? So you have to look at it that way. And then and Everton then look to January with a pot of money and go, well, if there's someone there, we've got money to spend in January, see where we are.
And you hope that Keane and Mina are playing well enough where teams don't think, they need a centre-back, I'm going to try and drain money from them. Because it'll enable us to buy a better player. So hopefully, if we do buy a centre-back in January, I hope we do, it's someone who's trying to come in and compete with them rather than just replace them straight away.
Profile. We'll see what happens there. Getting into the season then, with all that said, and obviously with the centre-back situation, you'd have to say vulnerable maybe. Everywhere else, I feel as though we're quite well placed now.
Well, if you look what we were missing before the summer, if you broke it down to not positionally or what we were missing in terms, we would lack goals. We've signed Moise Keane to add goals. Hopefully, Dominic Calvert-Lewin will step up. Still got Gylfi, still got Richarlison. But now what we've added is creativity. We've added Iwobi, we've added Sidibe. You can also add to the creativity. Delph, Gabaman. So maybe we can create more chances for players. And as a result, we'll score more goals. That has been an issue for Everton. Open play creativity. We rely a lot over the last 2 years on corners and free kicks because we have got Gylfi Sigurdsson, we have got Luca Dino, very good dead ball specialists. We need, but it'd be nice if we could start breaking teams down. I think we've signed the players to do that for us, which is what we needed. And defensively, Gabaman will help defensively. I know obviously we're missing one of the world's best ball recovery midfielders in Gay. What Gabaman gives you, instead of trying to track on the runner, it'll be the shield in the back, the front of the centre backs. So it's in a different way. It'll help us. It'll also mean we don't get caught on as many counter attacks because he won't go chasing the ball, or he won't sometimes Garner likes to get around the box. He'll be a different type of player. So hopefully that helps. Full season of Andre Gomez as well. Used to the Premier League. Hopefully he steps up. So we've got, if people start making that leap, and a year under Marcus Silva would help another pre-season. If people start making the jump like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Tom Davis, other players, then we can close the gap talent-wise with people, and I think he is a good coach for that. And I think it's perfect for the model that we're using.
I think also with Bamman, and what he's very good at, travelling with the ball as well. He can burst into space, but his long range passing's fantastic.
Which is going to help us on the break.
And that's something that Garner didn't have.
No, different weapons.
Garner was great, and sometimes he'd go and put the fire out, but he'd leave a gap. And I know one of the big things about Bamman and listening to Rylan Morgan's talking about him the other day as well, positionally very, very good.
Smart,
knows there, goes in, gets it strong, physical. And I think this Everton side now with Sidibe coming in and Bamman, and you've got the physicality, Iwobi's a strong lad.
Which is what we lacked,
So, listen, we don't know how it'll play out. I'm very, very optimistic about it. I am. Could be different in September. But at this moment, I'm very optimistic. Yes, the centre-back thing, the question mark is over. But looking around the teams around us, you've got Leicester City, you've got Wolves, West Ham, Watford, who are all probably pushing for that. Watford less so maybe, but who knows. I look at Leicester, lost Harry Maguire away, who was their best defender.
If you look at every team you've just mentioned, they've all got flaws. So Everton are not the only ones lacking a centre-half. I was speaking before to an agent, he was telling me that, you look at the two centre-backs for Morgan and Evans for Leicester, Watford have got Cathcart, Dawson, and Cabaselli maybe. These aren't like real, and West Ham have got Diop and Balbuena, who are probably more solid than, of a pair and been together a year. They're full-backs, you've got Brian Fredericks, Masuaka, who's really a left winger who plays left back, Creswell, who's been in and out, and who's on Zabaleta, who's a corpse now. So, I wouldn't say, and Wolves, I'm going to be honest, I'm not that impressed with Wolves' dealings in this summer.
I
like some of the players. I don't think the really first team is going to change. Or if they're like home, we've got the guy on loan from Real Madrid, will probably play centre half more than, possibly more than Ryan Bennett. But I don't know. Maybe I think Seb Halasan's good for West Ham. They've also got Fornals who can create. So they've added something going forward. Whether they can keep goals out of the back, though, has always been their issue. Fabianski's a fantastic goal. So no team's complete outside that top six. No. You look ahead of us. Chelsea couldn't sign anyone. Lampard's going to have to get them playing consistently without Hazard. That's a big drop off considering how many chances Hazard creates.
Well, they've lost Hazard. They lost Higuain. Whether people think he's good or not, he's an experienced centre forward. They're going with Tammy Abraham, who might be good, might not. I know he's got a great record in the Championship.
He's a goal scorer. He's not really great.
Swansea wasn't fantastic, although he did okay. They've got Michy Batshuayi. But again, he might be one they move out to Europe. I don't know, but he's hit.
I've never seen Keane really on him. Yeah.
And he's 26 now, and he's never really put he's 25, nearly 26. He shouldn't still be going.
No.
What kind of a striker is he at that age? He shouldn't, mate. Should you? Really? No. And then you've got Olivier Giroud, who I think's a great player, but he's a year older. So
they're good defensively in midfield.
They've got strong players.
Everyone knows the Kante will be back in his favourite position this season as well. But then left back Emerson and Alonso, a lot of Chelsea fans fell in love with last season. They're okay players. Right back will be better once Reece James and Azpilicueta obviously start rotating. But Chelsea will be good. It all depends.
Chelsea will be good.
It depends on the magic. We've seen Chelsea finish 10th and I think 8th maybe in the last 5-6 seasons. So it really depends on how
he galvanises them and have they got enough of that X factor the way Hazard will just pick them out of games and go bump, 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 game over.
Yeah,
have they got that? We'll have to see. Chelsea are more like workman-like side. They're strong. They're very, very strong, but they're workman-like as well.
They're probably lacking a bit of quality,
But they've got. It's weird to say, isn't it? They've got quality, but
it's not for attacking quality. And no Hudson-Odoi would have been someone good, they expected to add, and of course Ruben Loftus-Cheek's also out as well.
For me, the Premier League, City, Liverpool, and Spurs, I think will be the top three. I think they're ahead of everybody. I just do. I think then Chelsea are probably the best placed after that. Arsenal,
it depends.
I don't know what Arsenal are going to do. They've got some fantastic talent going forward. Obviously Pepe, he could be amazing for them. We don't know. He's a really, really good player. They've got Aubameyang and Lacazette, who I think are brilliant anyway. Ozil, whatever.
Midfield's okay.
Midfield's not bad.
Xhaka, Torreira.
At the back though.
Guendouzi.
Kieran Tierney's a good signing.
He doesn't defend them
that
well.
He's not great defensively. He's great going forward.
Socrates, he's okay. And then Rob Holding.
Mustafi.
Rob Holding's not better than any of our centre halves. No. So. And then it was Mustafi, and then right back Bellerin's all right. He's a good player. He's
coming back for it. He's not been the same as he was a few years ago.
So and then they've got Bert Leno, right? Bert Leno's a good shot stopper. but makes horrendous decisions constantly. I've always said this about Burnley. So Arsenal are a mystery. They're basically going forward. They look fantastic. Yeah. Losing Aaron Ramsey is a big deal as well.
I think so, yeah.
He really did score goals at vital points. So we'll see how they go on.
And then obviously Man United are the other one.
Man United really is a club is a foot on the football. Some will say off the pitch we need to improve. They're great off the pitch commercially. On the pitch, we're actually a smarter club than Man United. We haven't got as much money, so we can't go out and buy those players. But Harry Maguire for 85 million, let's be honest here, you could have brought better for 60 million. And then Aaron Wan-Bissaka's a good player, but 55 million for a fullback who isn't fully complete yet. Really in the final third, his decision making, his passing needs to improve. And Daniel James I like, but is he really going to contribute this season? They've really got a massive hole in defensive midfield. Fred is not a sitter. He's a box-to-box midfielder. I like Fred, and Pogba needs two water carriers, and they haven't got two capable water carriers. Maybe McTominay's going to step up. They've lost Ander Herrera, which is really important. Fellaini went, of course, as well.
Matt in January.
Matt is getting old. Who's going to create, apart from Pogba, who's going to create for that team? Luke Shaw. Yeah. It's a chance. Who's going to create constant chances apart from Pogba for them?
And what about the final third? They didn't get Mandzukic over the line.
So they've got Rashford, who I think is going to improve. Well, he needs to improve. I like Rashford. I think he's still in 22. He's got super talent.
I really like Rashford.
And then Martial, whether he ever reaches that obvious talent, and Martial gets a lot of shots on goal. To be honest, you can see it, but it never seems to be consistent for
Alexis has got loads of talent, but I don't know whether his
legs have gone. He's played nearly 800 games.
Jesse Lingard, I like, but he's hit and miss as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I like Jesse Lingard, but
what a player! But
I think if he was at Leicester, people would appreciate him more because he's not as big. It's not that type of player. Because when he's at a top club like Man United, with the focus on them, it sometimes makes people not like them as much.
The biggest thing is, are they better than they were last year? What do you think? That's the key, isn't it?
Some aren't. It's hard, isn't it? Chelsea have lost to one of the best players the Premier League's ever had, so you could probably say no.
Yeah.
They've got to change the system. They've got different managers. Sarri, really underrated. Bit of the xenophobia going on with the press about the way they treated them. Honest. It's going to be. It could be a weird Premiership. It could be the same as the same year that time we finished. It could be a weird Premiership.
Yeah.
Premier League, whatever. It's
really difficult, isn't it? Because no one's kicked the ball in anger yet. VAR's in as well, so that could throw a few mad things. Hopefully that could throw a few mad bits into the mix as well, and we don't know how everything's going to play out. So I'm confident that we can have a crack at the top six. I'm not saying we get in it, but I do look at that 4th to 8th or 9th and think, who knows? Everton, who knows? Who knows what Leicester, what Wolves will do? Who knows what United and Arsenal might be brilliant, but they might also be not brilliant. You
could easily conceive of Man United finishing 7th or 8th.
Yeah, if it doesn't go the way
they will look. If it doesn't go well to start, I can imagine Solskjaer replaced November, December. I just can't. It depends how they do, of course. I find it hard to see him seeing out the season because Edward will start panicking.
Unless they start well. I mean, you've got Chelsea at home first day, so
if they fall off though in the Champions League starts looking distant, they'll get rid of him because he's all about commercial, isn't he, Edward was? And who did he bring in? Allegri maybe, but he's not. That squad's not really great for him. You know what I mean? So this is the problem. United have got no plans. So if they lose, if they don't start off well, the manager's going to be under pressure again.
Is this why then that a lot of Evertonians will be a feeling? It seems to be a feeling a little bit frustrated that we haven't been able to get as a Hart and we haven't been able to get a Kurt Zouma. Is it because you look ahead and go, they can be caught? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the expectation was that then signings would have led there. My alternative, that is, it's not just about the season. No. And it's hard to say that to some people, because obviously this season's very important. Don't be wrong.
We have to get Europe.
Sustainable success. Yeah. That's what we want. We want to build. We want to be like Tottenham. I know Tottenham have never won anything. We want to be challenging every year. We want to be in finals all the time. We want to be in semis.
And we want to be only one or two players.
Exactly.
In the summer, really.
You don't want to be in a situation where we have to chase by 5
What if we brought in here 7 signings this summer? Is it 7?
We're changing the composition. We're changing the composition of the squad. And I think next season, you know, you're only going to need to add 3 or 4 next summer. You won't need to add as many. So hopefully,
I totally agree.
Unless, obviously, some players want to leave. I'm hopefully not one of our better players. If it's a fringe player, that's fine. But, you know, we just need to be patient, really. Marcel Brands is building something. If you look at, you know, it's different league. Look at PSV, the way he sort of built the academy. The academy. And when players left, he always had ready to replace them with either a sign he made the year before or a player from the academy. He's such a smart man. I'm a big fan of his. I know people say, oh, he didn't get this, didn't get that. Appreciate the bigger picture and what he's like and what we had before.
Look, don't forget, and everyone will have their own opinion, of course, but don't forget, look where we were when they took over, and they've only been here just over a year. So you have to look and go, in a year, he came in last season, we all were banging on, we need a left back, we need a left side, we need tick, 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 tick. Yeah. Got loads of the deadwood out again this summer, turned it round, so that last summer we spent 100 odd million or whatever.
90 wasn't it?
Or 90, whatever. This year, the net spend will probably, I sound like net spend FC, don't I? Them lot, but net spend will probably be around 15, 20 million,
but
and wage will reduce.
Long term, you know. I know people don't like net spend. I know the S doesn't talk like some amortization stuff, but in just simple terms, net spend is important because it shows you being a smart club. If you're being able to sell players and being able to bring in quality and improve your squad, then you don't have to shell out massive amounts of money. Like Tottenham have done it, and Liverpool have done it. I know we don't want to be like Liverpool, but we do in the sense that we want to be a consistent challenger.
Of course we do.
And the way to do it for a club who hasn't got 15 billion like City to spend every other year is to try and be a smart club, and that's what we're trying to become.
And obviously, just before we finish, there's a lot of talk about Renier Jesus, who's one of the biggest talents, you know, young talents in the world. Never have been very, very strongly linked to him. We can't do anything with him until January, but it's signings like him, isn't it, that when you're piecing together, someone like him coming in, who's a really big talent, he's brilliantly built. I think he's about 5'11", isn't he? He strides around the pitch, looks sensational. If you can get a couple of them to come in underneath, then it's like you're saying, say we lost, I don't know, say Richarlison for argument's sake had another good season and teams like Barca won him or in 2 years' time, and you went, well, we'll sell him for 130 million and this kid's going to drop in and we've got the next one.
Coming in.
That's what PSV
they did consistently.
Didn't they? And that's, I suppose, that's what Everton have to, that's...
Well, you look at it on a basic level. Henry Jesus is a number 10, could play false 9, play a bit on the wing, but he's a 10. You look at Gylfi Sigurdsson, he's 30, be 31 next season. Marcel Brands, we're thinking, say next season we've got both, then the season after we give the reins to Jesus, if it's him, by the way. That's what he thinks. He's always thinking about the next step. So Coleman, I don't think Sidibe's Coleman's replacement in terms of long term. He may bridge a gap. He may just be for the season while we look for someone else. But that's what Brands likes to do. He likes to try and think. It's a master plan, really. And it's exciting for me because Everton have never Moyes was fantastic. He was really good at bringing players in on cheap money. We've never really had not longer than a year-to-year plan. No. Even Coleman was only here to try and get to the Barcelona job. This is the first time we've had a long-term plan, and we've got the right man to do it. Now, Marco Silva's going to have to prove his worth. I think he's a good coach, and you know he's did okay last season. I think he's going to improve this season. I think it's an exciting time to be in Everton, and you can tell because other people like Klopp's mentioned there. People are starting to take notice of Everton, and that's important. If people in the game are starting to take notice, then they're starting to get worried. So it's a good thing.
Sky aren't taking notice, though.
But
Sky said Crystal Palace signed James McCarthy from Crystal Palace. That was their headline.
Well, unless we start getting 900,000 to watch every game on Sky, they don't take any notice. It's only the money makers for them, but who cares about Sky? This is better.
Stick to Toffee TV. That's it. That's our season preview. Are you gonna?
Yeah, I'm ready. 6th or 7th, I'm going to say. 6th on the optimistic side. 7th, it's still the same competition. It's a bit earlier in July, but 7th, we need to make Europe, and I think, I'm praying, I know it's the Mickey Mouse Cup, but it's the League Cup. We've never won it. I'd love to win the League Cup. I'm going to say similar. I think we'll be in Europe at the end of the season. That's what we're hoping for. That's what we're gunning for. Be amazing if we had a freak season and finish fourth. Yeah, it'd be fantastic to get that Champions League. Because it's group stages now. We never had the taste of that last time, of course. But you know, let's get into Europe and let's build again and let's see where we go. And you know, let us know what you think in the comments section below. Are you confident? Are you excited about the new season? Are you still a little bit like there's a hard thing has burst your bubble and there's no centre back? Let us know in the comments where you think we can finish and how you think the the transfer window was played out. What would you give it out of 10? And are you confident that going forward, we've got a plan now that's quite clear for everybody to see? And it's about making that plan a little bit tighter and continuing to improve season on season. Big thanks to Andy again
for joining me on this video. Make sure you check out at El Pavotti FTBL on Twitter. Check out his blog and all of that.
Thank you very much.
Let us know. Make sure you've subscribed. If you haven't, do it now. It takes a sec. If you want more videos, get over and join us on Patreon. Give this video a thumbs up as well. Big thanks for watching. See you later.